There's something people get wrong about why they come back, because it's not what it looks like, and it's definitely not what you hope. They don't come back because they miss you. They don't come back because they changed. And they don't come back because they suddenly realize your value. They come back for something else, something most people never see. And once you understand this, you stop questioning everything. You stop overthinking every message, every silence, every sudden reappearance. Because the truth is, they were never attached to you the way you think. They were attached to something you gave them without realizing. And the moment that disappears, that's when they feel it, not your absence, but the loss of access. And there's a difference. A big one, because when someone misses you, they think about you, they remember you, they feel something connected to who you are. But when someone misses access, they don't think about you, they think about control. They think about what they lost the ability to reach. And that's where everything starts to make sense. Because if it was really about you, they wouldn't disappear in the first place. They wouldn't replace you so fast. They wouldn't act like nothing happened and then suddenly reappear like it all still exists. That inconsistency, that confusion, that's not emotion. That's strategy. Because when a narcissist loses access to you, they don't feel heartbreak. They feel disruption. Something in their system stops working the way it used to. And they don't like that, not because of love, but because of control. So the first thing they do is test, not reconnect. Test. A small message, a reaction, something casual. Something that gives them information without exposing intention. Because what they're really asking is, are you still there? Can I still reach you? Do I still have a way in? And most people don't even realize they're answering that question, because the moment you respond, even with distance, even with neutrality, you confirm something. Access is still possible. And once they confirm that, everything else becomes easier. That's why they don't come back loud at first. They don't show intensity. They don't push. They observe. Because they're not trying to rebuild anything yet. They're trying to understand what's still available. And if they feel even a small opening, they move. But not in the way you expect. They don't come back as the same person. They come back as the version you always wanted, calmer, kinder, more aware, more present. And for a moment, it feels real. It feels different. Like maybe this time is not the same. But that's exactly where the trap is. Because what looks like change is actually adjustment. Temporary, strategic, designed to reduce resistance. Because if they came back the same way, you wouldn't open the door. So they don't. They adapt, they mirror, they say the right things at the right time, in the right tone, and the scariest part is it works. Because it hits the part of you that still wants closure, still wants answers, still wants to believe that something real existed. But here's what most people don't realize. If someone only shows up differently when they're about to lose you, they didn't change. They optimized. And optimization is not transformation. It's temporary. And temporary always expires. But not before pulling you back in. Not before making you question yourself again. Not before restarting the cycle. You fought so hard to leave. Because if you really look at it, this isn't the first time something felt different. It's just the first time you're aware of it. And awareness changes everything. Because before, you reacted automatically. You answered, you explained. You tried to make sense of things that were never meant to make sense. But now, there's a pause, a space between what they do and how you respond. And that space, that's what they don't know how to deal with. Because a narcissist depends on predictability, not stability, predictability. They don't need things to be healthy, they need things to be familiar. And your reactions, your emotions, your patterns, that's what created that familiarity. So when you stop reacting the same way, it doesn't just confuse them. It destabilizes the entire dynamic. Because now, they can't read you the way they used to. They can't anticipate your next move. They can't control the outcome. And control is everything. So what happens next is subtle, but extremely important. They start watching you more closely, not in an obvious way, not always directly, but through anything they can access. Your social presence, your behavior, your silence. Because now they're trying to understand something new. Did I actually lose control? Or is this just temporary distance? And this is where most people don't realize. They're still being evaluated, even in silence, because silence is not absence. Silence is information. And the way you hold that silence says everything. If your silence is unstable, if it breaks under pressure, if it turns into emotional reactions later, they register that. They learn from it. They adjust again. But if your silence is consistent, if it doesn't crack, if it doesn't seek validation, something shifts in a deeper way. Because now you're no longer part of the system they understand. And when that happens, they face something they avoid at all costs, uncertainty. And uncertainty is intolerable for someone who relies on control. So they escalate again. But this time, it's not about getting your attention. It's about getting a reaction, any reaction. Because a reaction is a signal, and a signal is access, even anger, even rejection, even a clear no. Because all of those still confirm that they can reach you, that they still exist inside your emotional space. But indifferent, silence, detachment, and that's different. That's where the system breaks. Because now there's nothing to work with. No entry point, no feedback, no control. And when there's no control, they don't know how to operate. And that's why at some point, they stop trying in the obvious ways. Not because they gave up, but because they are recalculating, they're waiting, they're observing, looking for a moment, a weakness, a shift, anything that feels like an opening. And this is where time becomes part of the strategy. Because distance creates doubt, and doubt creates vulnerability. So the longer the silence, the more your mind starts filling the gaps. Not with the reality, but with questions. Was it really that bad? Did I overreact? Maybe they're different now. And that's the real risk, not what they do, but what your mind starts doing in their absence. Because if your perception changes, you reopen the door from the inside without them needing to knock. And that's why this phase is the most dangerous of all. Because nothing is happening on the surface. But internally, everything is being tested. Your clarity, your boundaries, your memory, your ability to stay aligned with what you already saw. Because once you forget, even a little, you become accessible again. And the moment you become accessible, the cycle doesn't restart slowly. It snaps back, fast, because all the groundwork was already there. They don't rebuild, they resume, right where they left off. And that's why understanding this is what changes everything. Because now you don't just see their behavior, you see the structure behind it. And when you see the structure, You stop interpreting actions as emotions. You start recognizing them as patterns. And patterns don't lie. And this is where it gets even deeper. Because if the soft approach doesn't work, they don't stop, they shift. They stop trying to reach you directly and start trying to reach you indirectly. Through perception, through other people, through what you see without them ever speaking to you. And suddenly, they look fine, happy, moving on, living their life. And it hits because now it looks real. And your mind starts asking questions. If they're okay, why am I not? If they moved on, why am I still thinking about this? If they replace me so easily, what did I mean? But that's the illusion, because it's not about moving on, it's about being seen moving on. There's a difference. Real healing is quiet. Real growth doesn't need an audience, but performance does. And if it feels loud, if it feels timed, if it feels like it's meant to be seen, it probably is. Because they're still trying to reach you, just not directly. And if you react here, even internally, they regain something, influence, because now they're back in your thoughts, back in your emotions, back in your attention. And attention is a form of access, but if you don't react, if you stay grounded, if you don't engage, something starts to break. Because now, nothing is working. No message, no emotion, no image, no illusion. And when nothing works, they go deeper. They go for something harder to resist. Guilt. Because guilt bypasses logic. Guilt makes you feel responsible, makes you question your decisions, makes you wonder if you were too cold, too distant, too harsh. And that's the final attempt. Not connection, responsibility. Because if you feel responsible, you feel the need to respond, to explain, to fix, to soften. And the moment you do that, the door opens again. But here's the truth that changes everything. You are not responsible for how someone feels when they lose control over you. Not their discomfort, not their confusion, not their reaction. Because what they lost was never you, it was access. And once you see that clearly, everything shifts. Because now, you don't personalize their return. You understand it, and when you understand it, you don't react. And when you don't react, there's nothing left to control. And that's the only thing they were trying to get back.